Portfolio project. Any of you who have taken a class from me already know that I like for your last assignment for the class to be a portfolio of all the assignments that you have completed for the course. This class is no exception. What follows is an example of how I ask my students who took GRA 100, the Creative Design Suites class from me, to put a portfolio together for that class. Here, labeled as Assignment 8 for this class. This is what I want you to do for this class as well. So just substitute any reference from Creative Design Suites to this class, GRA 168 Computer Art 1. And for those of you who've already have your portfolio from a previous class of mine, just add on to it with new pages. Watch the following video, and if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm also including an instructional video on pages and spreads from that same class for the benefit of those of you who may not have used InDesign before. Here, that is labeled as Assignment 8.2. Again, any questions regarding that program, please don't hesitate to contact me, and I'll help you through that. Here, then, is the portfolio example.
This is the last assignment for the semester, and it utilizes InDesign. It will also utilize copies of the last InDesign assignment that you just did, the Pages and Spread assignment. What I want you to do is to create a multi-page document and put a copy of every one of your assignments into it. It's going to be pretty lengthy. So first, take and open your Pages and Spreads InDesign document and save it as a new document. Just rename it Portfolio for now. We didn't deal with layers when we did the Pages and Spread assignment, so now I'll ask you to open your Layers panel and name it Layer 1 as Background Pages. And then delete everything that was on them. Won't need them on this assignment. Now the first thing that we are going to do is to create a proper cover for your portfolio. It won't be doing a step-by-step progression on this, just give you some suggestions. Your portfolio will be considerably different. First thing you'll need to do is to add a bunch more pages. Here I've expanded mine out to about 13 pages, which won't be enough, but it'll get us started. Notice that I use the BMaster pages because I don't want to duplicate the page with the header on it. That will appear once at the very beginning. Next, we are going to deal with the front cover. So I will open my color picker and set it to black. Now, yours might be a different color altogether because your logo may be in many colors, or you may want to put your favorite color on the cover. You could also incorporate a JPEG or a vector file of some cloth texture, some natural texture like stones or moss. The thing to remember about the portfolio is that your decisions are largely going to be left up to you. You might like your background image on the front cover to be a bowl of Cheerios. So, I set my color to black. Then, using the rectangle shape tool, I drug open a box covering up the front page and filling it with black. Next, I went and got a copy of my logo. I went to Place and found the image and placed it. Remember, when it comes in, it might not appear to be the right background color at first. If you keep highlight it and go to Object Display Performance Highest Quality, it'll darken up. Here I have opened 3 containers and put my name at the top and the name of the class below that and the logo, and below that the semester and the year. I hit Preview W and decide it looks fine. Now I'm going to lock up the background layer. I'm done with the cover, and the pages themselves are already pretty much taken care of. Remember, I created new ones in the last assignment with special characters that exist on the master pages, the ones that keep track of the page numbers. I will create a new layer and name it Images. This is where I'm going to put all of the images from my assignment that exist in my peripheral drive. That was why I insisted that you keep good clean files and easy to access information. Makes finding things a lot easier. Here I have found my assignment folder and opened it. Inside you can see all the folders. There are 17 assignments for the semester, and some will overlap several pages, so the 13 pages that we initially created won't be anywhere near enough. But As you know, it's easy enough to create more, and we will need them. The first thing that I want you to place on your portfolio is assignment number 2. Why? Well, because that's your selfie, and it should go on the page with the header. After that, you can arrange the portfolio however you want. I will be showing mine chronologically. So, open the selfie, assignment number 2 folder, and there are the 2 images that I put there at the beginning of the semester. I select the first one and place it on the first page. The second one is bigger, and I have to use the Shift plus Command plus Option key to constrain it as I drag to reduce it to fit. So now the page is done for the time being. You might want to place only one image here and say something about yourself. Remember, if you're going to choose to use this document when you are done as a calling card or as a means of introducing yourself, this is where to do that. Some of you may be going on to a 4-year school from here, and if that's the case, be thinking of what you'd want to hear if you were an admissions person. If you are going on to school that specializes in graphic design, choose your words with that direction. On the other hand, if you're thinking of heading off in the direction of going after a freelance job, your pitch might be considerably different. Next, I will go to and locate the screen captures that we did in Bridge. The ones are the images that we took at the beginning of the semester. Image 1, and follow that with the contact sheet from assignment number 3, and so on. Here you might want to explain what was going on with that assignment, what you were required to do, and what you did. A lot of that can be lifted right out of the assignment description for each of the assignments. What you did, well, you're going to have to come up with that because I don't know. Here I'm placing images from the movement and rhythm assignment. If you can reduce that arrangement however you want. I put that together in a brief over-my-shoulder video to show you how to do some of this. A sort of I play a few bars and you play the symphony kind of an approach. With all of the images highlighted and selected, we go to Object, Effect, Drop Shadow. Open that dialog box, and with the preview set, watch and choose how we might want to apply them. Notice how the shadows overlap one another as if they were all tied together with the images. Here are the primary images for the figure ground assignment. Again, explain what I wanted you to do with this. Here I have zoomed out so that you can see my progress. I have finished with the figure ground images and even placed the final for the assignment opposite the studies, which are on the left page. Explain the process of using the various layers as masks to create the final. Here I have placed the image of the combining images assignment, which has come in really large. It's the one with the kittens destroying the city. I used the Shift plus Command plus Option keys to constrain the image as I reduced it, and then decided to let it span across 2 pages. Remember, the choices are yours. I've continued to apply the drop shadow as I go. And remember to always leave space to add descriptions about things. You may not always be present when someone is looking at your portfolio, so you're going to need to say the things about each image that you want the observer to understand. You can do this on the left side or on the right side or along the bottom. Here I have the first images dropped for the by 6 filters assignment. I quickly copy and paste a copy of the images until I have 6 copies. These are simply copies of the same image repeated 5 more times. I'm going to use them as placeholders for the actual filter copies so that they all end up the same size. Then if I click on the second one, center, top row, and then go to place and find the second image and let it place. Once I locate that image, I go to open. And when the copy comes in, the container will constrain the image so that it is exactly the same size. This makes putting these in really quick. When I'm done, all the various copies of each of these filters is in place. And I drag a box around all of them at the same time, and with my selection tool and using the 3 keys Shift plus Command plus Option, drag and reduce them to fit over onto the left page. I then can select one at a time and play with them, putting them into an arrangement. Here I have fanned them out like playing cards, and placed a final composition that uses them all as an enlarged image just below them. I could put a lengthy description of what I did on the right-hand page here, but here I've put the lifting assignment on that page with its drop shadow. And I've run out of space again. I'm at the bottom of the number of pages that I created when I started. So if I go to the small icon at the bottom of the Pages panel, the one that has the plus in it, I can continue adding pages. Again, the special character on the master page will keep track of the numbers so I don't have to worry about that. Here I have added 6 more pages, but it still won't be enough. Move back into position on the main page area in my document just below where I stopped working, and with my layer still set to the images, I continue. I add in the personal logo assignment sketches from assignment number 11 and give a good description of my thinking on that project, why I did what I did on each of the various rough sketches, and my decision why I chose the final one that I did. Drop down a couple of pages and then go to the Illustrator stuff, putting in the layer assignments for 12 and 13, and then the complex shape assignment number 14, showing both the small and the large version of my Illustrator file. Having run out of space again, I add yet more pages and put in copies of my first InDesign assignment, the business card. Hit the W key again, put myself into preview, scroll up and down the pages, and determine that everything looks good. I zoom out so that I can see the extent of my portfolio, and you can see that I've created quite a few pages. Now it's time to test out the PDF preset. You may not have added any text yet, and this would be a good time to do a test PDF version. If you have a printer, you could print out all of these pages in black and white and write notes on each page about what you want to ultimately say. So, just to see what the document will look like when I commit to a PDF, I go to File, Adobe PDF Preset, High Quality Print. Choose where I want to save the file, and then I hit Export, but I get this warning message after it's printed. Something isn't right. I captured all of this so that you could see what to do if you have problems like this. The warning didn't tell me what the problem was exactly, so I need to go back into my InDesign file and look around. When I examined the pages, I noticed that there's this little question mark at the top corner of every page. This means that InDesign can't locate the image that I pulled into the document. If you remember the business card demo, you probably remember why this is and what to do about it. These are the images of the watermark page, and I know why. It's because I pulled this InDesign file out of the last assignment folder and did not include the file with the Photoshop watermarks assets with it. This is where InDesign and Illustrator are a lot alike. Until you have the document saved as a PDF, you have to be careful to keep the assets together, and you should probably do that even after it's been saved as a PDF in case you ever want to work on it some more. So I click on the question mark and open up a search window, almost like InDesign is saying, okay, where are the files? If you are not organized, this can be very frustrating. Fortunately, I just completed this assignment, so I know right where it is on my desktop, marked Assignment 17, Pages and Spreads. Inside that folder is a folder with the Photoshop files of the watermark pages in it. I open the folder and click on the Photoshop file, and InDesign is happy, at least for now. Now the question mark has been replaced with a chain link, meaning the files are now linked. However, before I finish this portfolio document and close it up, I should create copies of not only everything that went into it as far as my portfolio images, but of the background watermark pages as well, and make sure that they all get stored with the InDesign document for future use. Especially if I'm going to add on to this portfolio in the future, and if you take another one of my classes, you'd better, because you'll need it, and there's no reason to reinvent the wheel if you already have it. However, to continue, if I look at the opposite page, I notice that it hasn't found that page yet. nor any of the other pages that rely on the B-Masters. I go back and I find them all, and after I get that all wrapped up, I go again to File, Adobe PDF Presets, High Quality Print, and it warns me that this file already exists. But the copy exists with a previous flaw in it, so I say, yes, I want to replace it. I can now open the PDF and look at it as a single page spread, one page at a time. Here's the way to look down about 8 or 9 pages in. So I've only scratched the surface here with what you can do with your portfolio document. All this talk about what you should be saying, and I've not created a new layer yet and put text into it or say anything about what's going on with my images. Again, if this is something that you're going to want to show to people who might want to hire you someday, you might want to say something about some of the decisions that you've made while you were completing these assignments. You may also want to put side headers on some of your pages indicating where you transformed from Bridge to Photoshop or from Photoshop to Illustrator and the like. Plus, there are other effects that you can add to the images and the text. Just be judicious and don't overdo that. Sometimes doing too much is bad taste and bad design. The biggest requirement of your portfolio is that it tells someone what you are doing in this class. That is what I'll be looking at when I give you a grade for this. So, be creative.